What's up, guys? One Koala Man here, bringing you episode number 62 of our fairy tale reviews. And today, kind of a lot goes down, but it's nothing we can't handle, right? So, if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to hit that like button down below. Also, answer the question of the day and follow me on Twitter, both which will be in the description down below, so give those a look. And also, there is going to be something new happening to the channel. I don't know when. It's probably gonna be after this arc, after the whole Wendy Kate shelter arc. So expect some new things to be seen, expect some new things to be done, but overall it should be relatively the same with a few minor details, switched up a bit. But with all that said and done, guys, let's get this mother underway. So we start today's episode off with Natsu's victory over Cobra and Cubelios. Or should I say Natsu and Happy's victory over Cobra and Cubelios. But they are still feeling the effects of that poison. And Cobra is still standing. For whatever reason, he is still standing and he will not, be defeated. He does not want his pride to be killed, pretty much. And he wants the newer generation to be so much better than the older generation Dragon Slayers. So he intends to end it all right here with Natsu. And Brain comes in out of freaking nowhere, just flat out destroys Cobra, his own teammate. And we see Cobra's prayer, and his only prayer was to hear the voice of his one true friend, which was Cubelios, which apparently he can never hear the thoughts of Cubelios for whatever reason. So I guess that was a alright prayer for, Cobra. It showed like how lonely he was with, even though he only had one true friend. But it showed like how, how his mind worked and whatnot. But whatever, this isn't a psychology class or anything. So he gets flat out destroyed by Brain, and Natsu can't really do much. Although he's angry at the fact that Brain destroyed Cobra, he can't do anything because the poison is just seeping through his body, and he is just exhausted. He can't do anything at this moment. And all of a sudden, we're taken back to the Midnight and Richard fight, and Richard is just destroying Midnight. Like, that is freaking crazy. Like, Midnight's getting thrown all over the place. Richard is one heck of a guy, that's for dang sure. And Midnight, this is like a pride thing for him too, because he can't lose, because if he loses, he's afraid his father, aka Brain, is gonna abandon him or think nothing of him. So there's a lot on the line for Midnight to win this fight right now. And now back to Natsu, Cobra, and Brain. Lucy's squad, which consists of Lucy, Gray, and Jura, finally catches up with Natsu, Happy, and Brain. And Brain is like taking Natsu to Lord knows where, and he wants to use Natsu and control him with Nirvana to make Natsu do his own bidding, because Natsu's like really strong. But, the squad comes in. So now there's just a bunch of dialogue and a bunch of, them talking back and forth and whatnot. And Jura wants to know, like, why does Brain want to go after the Kate Shelter Guild? Out of all these guilds that are close by, he wants to go through all the trouble to destroy Kate Shelter. But Brain is reluctant to answer, and he just starts fighting Jura. And now is a fight between Jura and Brain, and now cue the Jura and Brain fight. Jura finally beat Brain, and Brain is laying down on the ground and talking to himself, saying, "Midnight, you're our only hope. We have to keep, like, all of our prayers alive," or something like that, because it's the only way to keep him at bay. Now, we don't know who him is. Not this him again. I don't know why he keeps showing up, or she keeps showing up, whatever. But this him, everybody's, like, questioning, like, who is this him that, Brain's referring to? And now, Wendy and Carla finally join the fray, and they catch up with the squad. And the squad goes up to the tippity top where the giant tower is, and they try and find this control panel that has to be controlling Nirvana somehow. But back with that Midnight and Richard fight, something very interesting happens, and that is Midnight's wounds are, like, completely gone, and he's saying that magic attacks don't work on him, and he just freaking destroys Richard like that. He just wipes him off the scene, and I'm thinking, what the freaking heck just happened? This is ridiculous. Okay, I don't know how Midnight's doing this, but he's perfectly fine. He just destroyed Richard with one hit. He didn't even hit Richard. He just, like, looked at Richard, and Richard started, like, screaming and yelling and whatnot. I don't know what the friggin' heck was happening with Richard, but Midnight's victorious. Richard goes down, and his prayer, of course, if you couldn't figure it out, is to, find his long-lost brother and to see him at least one more time. And so that's 5 of the 6 members of the Oracion Seis gone, and Midnight is the last hope. And Midnight says to himself that as long as he's still standing, Nirvana cannot be stopped. So the squad pretty much has to verse arguably the strongest member of the Oracion Seis. So it's like 1 on, 6 people? So the odds are looking pretty good for the squad. But I wouldn't put it past Midnight. He freaking destroyed Richard. He destroyed Ren and Eve, the trash anyways. So it doesn't really matter that he destroyed them. But this is going to be an interesting fight, seeing Midnight versus, the squad. And speaking of the squad, they're up on the tippity top of the tower, trying to figure out where the heck this, control panel is. And Nirvana's still walking, like, the same speed it was walking before Brain got, destroyed. But they're trying to find it, and Wendy finds out that, Natsu's not feeling so hot, so she figures out that he's, having his motion sickness problem, and she actually cures him of it, which is, pretty cool, because that's like a real crippling thing for Natsu to have on Nirvana, because Nirvana is constantly moving, and we don't need Natsu being sick constantly. So she cures him, he's all good, and that is the end of the episode of Fairy Tail. Alrighty guys, you already know I don't like to end off without a question of the day, and today's question of the day is, after seeing, like, pretty much all of the Oracion Seis members and what they can do and what they're all about, which is your favorite based on what you've seen? Not like based on a first impression like I've asked, back in the day. I think I asked that question before. But anyways, who's your favorite now? Has it changed? Is it still the same person? I don't know. I think back when I asked it the first time, I believe I said Cobra was my favorite. Now, Cobra is still my favorite, but Hot Eye, or aka Richard, is tied with him because Richard is just so lovable. I love his voice. He is awesome. Richard is just absolutely cool. Now, Cobra is freaking legit. He is a poison dragon slayer. Come on now. He's a dragon slayer. Of course I'm gonna like him. I like all the dragon slayers equally. Well, rewind on that. Loxus is my main man, okay? Loxus is way up there, okay? So, I like all of them, all the same, except for Loxus. He has a special spot on the tippity top. But let me know in the comment section below who your favorite is, if it's still the same person as before, if it's a different person, I don't know. But with all that said and done, guys, as always, keep it cool.